No. I'm not doing it again. I'm trying. Well, actually, it is password. Never mind. It's on.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
Good. We're live.
So the next thing I wanted to show is well, three things. First is we just released a tool for spearfishing that's super simple and easy. Guy out of our out of Trusted Stack, Scott White. It's free, open. It's not open source, but it's free. Reason it's not open source is because we're like cleaning up the code, and it's anyways, I'm kind of embarrassed, but anyway, it's actually good code. So here's the beta of it that we launched, and basically this will do everything for you to create a very easy spearfish for you to go and target. So it's a GUI. It works in Windows, and basically all you do is send a from email to. And then, to, and the from name that you want to come from. Any files you want to add to it, so if you're going to use like PDF exploits or Word documents or things like that, it's all good. You can use SSL. Here's the SMTP server settings for an SMTP server that you want to use, or if you want to spoof it, I'll do that as well. And then here, it's a nice, rich text editor. So you can format the emails any way you want to. So if I click in here, you can see here's a nice little, you can do the font, you can do all that other stuff in here. So you can basically create and craft, your own spearfish automatically for you. So I just wanted to hit that really quick. It's really super simple to use, and something that you can use to, kind of target your attacks and things like that.
Can you throw like their logos and stuff in there?
Yep. It's all HTML-based emails, so you can put logos, format it the way you want to, make sure it's sent out right. And this is available on the website, so you can go and download it there. It's super. What's that?
Windows.
Windows. Yep. You can use Wine to run it as well. It's .NET based, so you can use Wine. It's easy. I don't know. Let's see. It does not do spell check. I'm sorry.
Well, that makes it safe. That's good.
It does have an auto Romanian feature or Russian feature. So if you have like horrible spelling or grammar when you're sending targeted spearfishes, like Viagra, if you spell Viagra wrong, it'll automatically correct that for you. So yeah, good old phishing schemes. Any questions on that? Super simple. I just want to show that really fast. All right, next one I'm going to show. Is the two-factor authentication stuff. So I basically went and did a huge laundry list of probably like 10 different two-factor authentication solutions. And what I was looking for is, one, what's good for my customer base, for people that I work with, because we don't sell anything. We just recommend what we see as best out there. And so we've seen a couple solutions, and there was one that was specifically called Phone Factor. Phone Factor is an interesting one because it allows you to basically so this is the funny part. So we were doing a spearfish for a manufacturing company. And so we do this manufacturing company, and we send a targeted social engineer attack to them. They click on it. They enter their credentials in. So we get their credentials. We're trying to VPN in. And when we get to the VPN prompt, it says, hey, you need to approve that you're actually who you say you are. So wait a minute while we try to verify who you are. And what it does is it sends a text message to you, and it says approve or deny. Now let me ask you a question. If you're a normal, let's just say, sales user or somebody inside of an organization, and you get a text message that pops up saying, hey, do you want to authorize you logging into a machine or not? What are you going to do? Yes. So she clicked yes, and then it authenticated us. Does that sound like good two-factor authentication? Probably not, okay? Yeah. So good for us, right? Bad for them. And that's an education awareness thing. When you put the confines of two-factor authentication into the user's hands, you have a significant problem. So that one wasn't good for us. We didn't see it, but I didn't like that too much. But there's one that I really homed in on, and I did a few of them, like RSA and a few other ones, and a lot of them are really bulky inclusions. Like RSA, you have to have like an RSA server and do all this stuff. And anyways, so if you want something that can scale to an entire organization, I'm not a salesperson at all in any way, shape, or form. This is just what I found best for me. Something that can scale to a large organization, something that installs literally, if you want to get Exchange two-factor authentication done in 5 minutes, this is the one you go to. If you want to do like VPN in 5 minutes, this is what you go to. RDP takes a little bit longer because you have to deploy the MSI to each one, or you can propagate it through group policy. I just did mine one by one. That's why it took an hour. But basically, I use this. So I'm going to log into one of my servers. So I'm a Server 2012 native mode infrastructure. So this works on Server 2012. When you click on it, notice here you get a little lock icon. You click on it, and you get your username, you get your password, and you get your Duo passcode. Okay? Now the Duo passcode can be SMS, voice, or push. Okay? Now I want to show you the push. Now push can be a little dangerous. I'm going to warn you on that, because again, it puts it back into the user's hands. But I'll just use a dummy account that I created for this. My sons are into Thor right now. Oh, I don't have cell reception down here. Son of a. So there goes my whole demo. Actually, hang on. I think I can do Wi-Fi. Let's do that. That should work, hypothetically. Okay, so I got Wi-Fi now. See, this works. So what I type in here, again, you can type in push, SMS, or voice. And then when I do this, it goes away. I didn't hit enter, that's why. All right, it worked. Now notice here on my phone, it's got my logo on there. It does a reverse IP address. So if I'm coming from the internet, it'll triangulate and do geolocationing. And then it asks you whether or not you want to approve or deny this authentication request. So as soon as I hit approve, logs me in. Super simple. Now, again, the installation procedure for this, the way that you get it installed, is you double click on MSI file. It asks you for the integration key. The integration key you get off of their main web portal. Copy the integration key, the secret key, it's all posted there. And then you hit OK and you're all set. That's as long as it takes to basically get the two-factor authentication on RDP. Same thing goes for OWA. Crap, what's my password? That's it. So again, do a push, phone call, passcode. Hit login. Again, I'm coming from Westlake, Ohio from this IP address. Hit approve. And I'm all set. I'm not going to let you see my email. Super simple. Now again, that exchange stuff, 2 seconds. Double click MSI, grab the integration key, grab the secret key, hit next, 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 reset to IIS, and you're all set. So that's super simple. And again, text message, it'll give you, what's nice about the text message one is it gives you a series of ones that you can try. It'll give you like 8 or 9 different random numbers that you can use to generate it. Again, it's a really nice, slick interface. It's super easy to manage. And what's nice about it is it automatically integrates into Active Directory. So if it's a new user, like for example, let's just say I'm Bob, and Bob has never used two-factor authentication before. You log in as Bob, it says, hey, there's a new system out that you need to use two-factor authentication. You can customize the message, by the way. And it'll say, hey, we need you to enroll. So there's 3 ways you can enroll. 1, type in your cell phone number. So they enter in their cell phone number. Then it says, okay, you have your cell phone number. Are you using an iPhone, Android, or Windows mobile device? They're like, yes, I am. Okay, download this app real quick. Download the app, and it's like, okay, scan this QR code in. So you open up the app, and you scan the QR code, and it pairs your phone with the two-factor authentication stuff. So it's really slick and easy for the users to be able to use. You don't have to do the pairing. If it doesn't automatically populate, I have no idea what my password is. Yeah, hang on. I need to go to my password vault real quick. I don't remember any passwords ever. And it's super cheap. It's like a monthly fee, real easy. So what's nice is even per user. Yep. It is free for the first 10 users. So for me, I only have all my admins on the RDP stuff. It's free for me. Now, even when I log into the Duo site, it's two-factor authentication. So again, I'm going to do the push. See the push. Click on it. See where I'm coming from. I hit approve. There's the dashboard. Now, if I go to integration, so here you can see I did WordPress, RDP, and OWA as my integration pieces for it. Now, again, this is great for home use too, right? I mean, if you have under 10 users, you can do all your home stuff for it if you're using WordPress or things like that. But all you need to do is hit New Integration. And you can see all the different supported systems they have. There's a whole bunch of them. They got Palo Altos. They got TMG, RDP, OWA, Juniper, Fortinet, Drupal, Citrix NetScaler, Cisco SSL VPN, Unix integration, Splunk, Radius, OpenVPN, F5s. So they got a pretty good laundry list of things that you can do integration into, which is really nice. So again, and the pricing is, so if I go down to billing, make sure I didn't show my credit card there. Yeah, it does. That's fine. The last 4, but it's fine. So, here's the pricing schemes. So for a year, 500 users is 17 grand. For 20 users, is $30 a month. So, I mean, it's not bad. It works out really well, and it's super easy to integrate. I mean, the ease of use for this, for me not knowing anything about their product line, creating an account, getting the 10 free ones, deploying the MSI, having it install on all my RDP servers, all of OWA, sending an email to everybody, telling everybody about my new two-factor authentication solution stuff, took about an hour. Again, I'm a lot smaller of a company than probably most of you, but again, something that's super easy.
How long has this company been around?
Duo's been around for a while. When I say a while, probably 2 or 3 years. I guess it's not really a while. Hang on, I don't know. And don't quote me on that. I've seen them more and more over the past 2 years. So it could be longer than that. So good product.
Any security incidents?
Nope. Any questions on that? Seem pretty simple, easy? All right, last thing I'm going to show. And I guess we'll get out of here super early. Not that early. Did anybody see our DEF CON presentation? Couple? Yeah, everybody see that? So let me show you real quick. I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you one of the things that we did. Mick Douglas was the chicken. Was it DEF CON 21 this year? I presented a few of them, so I don't remember. Let's see. It's here somewhere. There it is. So what I want to show you really quick is one of the social engineers that we did. And yes, we had a chicken on stage. I don't know why. It was just random. I just called a random place up the day before. I'm like, hey, do you have chicken outfits made change? She's like, yeah, actually, we have 2 in stock. I'm like, I'll take 1. But anyways, so this is at DEF CON. And what was neat about this, again, you know me, I'm into the social engineering side. I'm into breaking into stuff, but the social engineering side fascinates me because we're so crazy vulnerable to it right now that it's like ridiculous. Like, I haven't seen any company yet that can stop any type of attack if you actually target a company for more than a day, or less than a day. So this attack was interesting. Think of this. Think of a company that has every piece of technology that you could ever possibly imagine. They've spent millions and millions of dollars on their security program. Okay, so everything from next-gen firewalls to virtualization technology to sandboxing to intrusion detection, intrusion prevention systems to application whitelisting. All of these are in place in this company that we targeted. We did a live social engineer on stage. So basically, we targeted a company on stage that gave us permission, obviously, to do this, and we targeted 5 individuals. We got a hold of one of the last ones that we're targeting, and we social engineered them live on stage. Now, when we social engineered them live on stage, I had one of my buddies, Kevin Mitnick, come up and do the actual social engineering while I did the technology in the background. So we basically tag teamed it, and you'll see what happened here in a second. It was kind of interesting. But I want to show you some of the new things that I built in the set that work really well. So let me see where we're at here. Might be hard to hear, I apologize. If anybody's streaming porn, can you stop for like 5 minutes? Just throwing that out there. This may fail on me. Seems like it was going. Oh, I'm on the VPN. That's probably why. Trying to find where I actually start calling the person, because there's a lot of. We're having technical difficulties. It was actually going really bad at first. I'm like, oh crap, it's gonna suck. You guys hear that? So Kevin's basically saying, we sent you a benefits privacy form. Have you filled it out yet? And the guy's basically saying, no, I don't remember seeing this. Can you resend it? And Kevin's like, well, we need to get it done today. So can you just go and fill this out right now? Because we need to get these deadlines basically done today. And the guy's like, well, yeah, sure, I can fill it out. What do you need me to do? And so we registered a domain name called healthbenefitsportal.com, which is a readily available domain name. We said, yeah, you need to go to company name. We kept out the company name. We said, go to www.healthbenefitsportal.com and go ahead, and when this thing pops up, just click run. And the guy's like, yeah, I already clicked run. We're like, okay, cool, perfect. And then we had shells raining on the screen, and we bypassed all the preventative mechanisms on the screen. I'll show you how I did in a second. But that's Kevin on stage. That's me to the right. That's Mick on the stage. That's Nick Hitchcock, one of the guys from TrustedSec that co-presented with me. And then, so basically, we're going through and doing the attack right now. So let me fast forward a little bit. And what's cool about this is, you know, there's about 5,000 people in the audience. I mean, it's a packed room. You can't fit anybody else into the room. I mean, they're crammed in like sardines. And everybody is like, if you drop the dime in the room, you could hear it. So everybody's perfectly quiet because we don't want to ruin the phone. So you can see here, we got him to click it. We have shells coming from his IP address. Those are shells coming in. And we basically were able to circumvent him live on stage in front of 5,000 people. And then, you know, everybody, again, so right now, listen to this.
If you find that email or you find that in the spam that we sent you earlier, just go ahead and ignore it because everything is fine.
Oh, that's it?
Unfortunately, I have to call 6 more people that didn't fill out the form either, so yeah, it's kind of my Friday work.
All right.
All right, well, have a great weekend, and talk to you soon.
All right.
All right, take care.
You missed the part where you started getting shells and then you had to like calm the audience
Yeah, to calm the
down.
audience down. So we did that on stage, you know, live on stage to show how we can circumvent it. Now, the way that we did that, if you look at a lot of the different types of technology, like Palo Alto's, for example, or a lot of the next-gen firewalls, what they do is they try to categorize what's called network behavioral analysis and look at strange behaviors happening in the network. So you look at abnormalities, you know, things that are different that shouldn't be, you know, happening within a network. Now the problem with that is that the way that the hacking industry is moving and the way that hackers are moving is they aren't focusing on things that are abnormal anymore. It's not, hey, am I going to run 30 million shells out of your network and have a command and control botnet? That's not how we're thinking anymore. And when I say we, it's the bad guys, but we think like them too, right? So what they're doing now is we're, you know, typically the way that hackers move is that they're manipulating in their compromising machines based on what looks like legitimate or normal traffic. So, you know, tunneling things out legitimate protocols that you have, like HTTP or HTTPS. And they're encrypted and polymorphic in a way that it completely changes the way that it looks every single time, so that things like next-gen firewalls or virtualization technology or things like that don't pick up on them. And so you have all these product lines. Let's just take next-gen firewalls or virtualization sandboxing technology. Sandboxing technology takes something like an executable, right? And it virtualizes it and it says, okay, what am I touching? What am I hitting? Am I beaconing out to the internet? What am I doing? Is this malicious? Well, that really works for executables, but again, hackers are moving off of that EXE front. Why even deploy an executable when we have other ways of being persistent on the infrastructure, other ways of being, you know, deploying pieces of malware on the machine itself? So if you take those commonalities, you can say, okay, one, if I need to defeat these technologies, I need to emulate normal traffic, okay? That's the first prerequisite. 2, I'm not going to use things that are like an executable that's from like 1990s. I mean, come on. When we're deploying malware 3xes, it's literally 1990s things. So that's 2 prerequisites, okay? And those are literally the only 2 things that we really have to worry about as an attacker. So if you take those 2 things and you can manipulate traffic that looks legitimate in nature, and 2, you don't drop an executable, you have a match made in heaven because you can basically circumvent everything else that's out there. Let's just take application whitelisting, okay? Application whitelisting is a great concept. You know, only allows certain processes or things that are allowed on the machine itself to be able to run. Now, let me ask you a question. What are the most commonly attacked applications on a third-party system that there is today? Java. What's the other one? Adobe. What's the other one? Well, Internet Explorer, I would say, right? So those are 3 things that I typically know you have, right? So let me ask you a question. Is Java allowed to be run on your machine? Is Internet Explorer allowed to be run on your machine? Is Adobe allowed to be run on your machine? So if we have those 3 things whitelisted and the main methods of exploitation are these 3 things, what does application whitelisting really do? I'm just curious. Nothing, right?
It makes business as usual.
It makes business as usual. So application whitelisting hasn't done anything to make us change our attack patterns. We're exploiting Windows, we're exploiting Java, we're exploiting Adobe, we're exploiting IE. We're running under those trusted processes that are already whitelisted. So what makes the difference? So when you exploit a machine and where you attack an individual target, you go after things that are already whitelisted. You go after things that are going to manipulate traffic. So you're going to go over HTTP or HTTPS. You're going to ride proxy settings, which are very easy to do. So you're going through the proxy, you're going through your content filtering, you're going through your blue coats, you're going through your, all of your other things that you're doing out in the cloud, that do content filtering and all that good stuff. And you're routing all those connections out to be legitimate traffic. That's where we're at today. And that's where everything's moving to. So the defensive capabilities that we have for detecting those and preventing those aren't really there. So let me show you an example. So I'm going to use the social engineering tool. And by the way, if I present, I always do the social engineering toolkit, so I apologize. So ignore this. Oops. So name a website to clone. Gmail's kind of weird. Whatever. That's kind of, I'm not going to do Gmail. That's what I use in all my demos. So I'll do Gmail. Actually, let me hang on. Thought I did. Let me just find out where this is at. I changed this all around, so. So I did CNN the other day, so I'll change this to you. Okay, so this attack here that we're going to use. Now, this is built in a set on the Mac. There's a few different ways that you can do it. The first is just basically sending a standard Metasploit Meterpreter payload, but the Meterpreter payload will run over HTTP and HTTPS. So again, proxy aware, hook into your settings, be able to leverage the proxy settings you have configured, and then tunnel all that traffic out, normal HTTP traffic. So that's fun. There's also a couple other ways, and this is what we released at DEF CON. So there's a technique that I came up with. And this is, so let me try to explain it like a super easy way. Those that are technical will probably get it to you. What happens when you run something on a machine, so let's just say it's Java. Whenever you can get direct access into memory, you can do whatever you want to. It's basically your playing ground to play with bits and bytes and all that good stuff, assembly code. So what I did is I shot Metasploit shellcode, which is malicious, right? It'd be detected hopefully by intrusion detection or intrusion prevention systems. And what I did with that is I wrapped it over SSH. Okay, so SSH is an encryption protocol, right? But then I took that SSH and I converted it to a polymorphic tunnel over HTTP or HTTPS that's proxy aware. So it changes every single time a packet's sent, and it's all over SSH encapsulated in a Meterpreter shell. So it's legitimate normal HTTP and HTTPS traffic. So if you're just sitting there sniffing traffic, it would look legitimate, it would look completely unique and different every single time, and it completely gets around network behavioral because it's different every single time, no patterns that you can recognize around it. Now the problem with that is it literally defeats it forever. There's not really anything you can do to really identify how that actually works and make something that's a signature to be able to detect that type of thing. So I haven't released the code for that because it's actually really dangerous because it literally defeats next-gen firewalls forever. Okay, But what's nice about this technique here is, let's just say you have some sort of sandboxing technology. The sandboxing technology is going to try to virtualize whatever that is. It's going to try to make sure it's not malicious. Well, these attacks don't do anything. When you run them, you run the executables. The only way it drops an executable, by the way, is if it can't get direct access into memory. So I use the executable as a very last resort, which I never end up using anymore. But what it'll do is it basically takes AES 256 encrypted all my code and encrypts it with AES 256. It uses what's called a dynamic cipher key every single time. So it's a completely different AES key every single time that's generated. And then it pulls all that information, shoots it into memory, and then does all of its decryption, then encapsulates it over SSH and sends it out over that HTTP HTTPS tunnel. So I'll show you a demo of that real quick.
Did you just say you were going to explain that simply?
Sorry. I tried. I really tried. I really tried. That one's a tough one because that took me like 6 months to write. And I really haven't released the code because I have an ethical dilemma of like, is this really even bettering the community? So it's like one of those things where like, should I really release it or not release it? I'll probably not release it. I probably will release it, but someday. And then one other cool thing that's neat is PowerShell is absolutely awesome. That's my direct inline to doing direct memory injection. So what's awesome is if you're using Windows XP and you're doing a migration off of Windows XP, thank you as a hacker because you've just opened up a complete different playground that I never had before as a hacker. So thank you for moving to Windows 7 because I literally, like when the end of life of Windows XP happens, I will have a party at my house with cake and everything because we're going to celebrate the introduction of everybody using Windows Vista, Windows 7, or Windows 8 because it's a complete different playing ground for us as hackers. But anyways, so what's nice about PowerShell is Matthew Graeber came out with an attack called PowerShell. He uses it in PowerSploit. But what it essentially does is it allows you to take assembly code and shoot it straight into memory through PowerShell. Okay? And we came out with Josh Kelly, who's not here. He just had to skip out. But Josh and I did a presentation at DEF CON 17 of how to bypass what are called execution restriction policies, which basically allow you to get around being able to execute unrestricted code on a machine itself. So you couple those two together, and you have a pretty good recipe for disaster. So you can basically take assembly code, shoot it into memory real time through PowerShell, and you can't get rid of it because PowerShell you can't uninstall because it's hooked into the operating system. So we have a reliable exploitation method. And here what happens is I came up with a new attack about a month ago, which is called the x86 downgrade attack. Traditionally, you had to, when you attacked a machine, you couldn't really smart detect whether or not it was 64-bit or 32-bit. So what I did is identify within the PowerShell code whether or not it's 32 or 64-bit, and then I downgrade the 64-bit process to a 32-bit process so I can run native shellcode in it. So again, it's just efficiency, a bunch of other stuff, but I released this recently that allows you to basically do a downgrade attack on it. Now, when I go to this website, and you guys, if you've seen the Social Engineer Toolkit before, you've seen this before. This is a Java applet attack. This does not use any type of exploit in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't use any type of, malicious content. Nothing's going to flag on this. As soon as I click on this, would anybody in your user population click on this?
Everybody.
Heck yeah, they would. And I've never seen a company that does not. Now, what's great about this, and again, this is Gmail. But and if you've heard, has anybody heard my one where I do the medical benefits attack? So that's one of my favorites. So I do one where I send out a thing where I register a domain name that's very similar to their company. So like trustedsec-benefits.com. And I say due to new HIPAA regulations, you have to sign off on this new privacy policy. If you do not, you won't receive medical benefits next month. So people always click on it. And then up there you say medical benefits enrollment, verification. You hit run, and then it compromises your computer. Would anybody click on that? Absolutely, right? So again, it's all in how you make this look believable. But this right here is just a normal behavior of Java. As soon as you hit run, it redirects them back to the legitimate site. You see that? So now I'm at the real Gmail site here. Here we see it. So you see that accounts.google.com. So I'm at the legitimate site now. No one knew that they're at the bad one. And then over here, it's doing all of its stuff. So I should see a shell here in just a second. It'll take a while. Basically, I'll have full access to this computer. Pretty neat. And what's nice about that, again, not touching disk. Never touches disk, doesn't write anything onto there. It's all obfuscated, it's all changed, and it does encryption the entire way through over to HTTP and HTTPS. So again, typically you wouldn't see it. It's proxy aware, allows you to gain access to that. Now another cool thing, all right, Yeah, so what happens is, so he's asking how does the client, me as the attacker, decrypt that? And the way that it works is the cipher key is generated within the social engineer toolkit. So the cipher key is generated inside of SET. SET then wraps it into the Java applet, and once it's executed, it then sends it back to us with that cipher key, sends it back to us, and then we can do the decryption process. The cipher key? In memory. Yeah. So the cipher key is in memory.
While your listener's running.
While your listener's running, yeah. As soon as you exit out, it's done. The next one is the webjacking attack, and this is one of my personal favorites. And this is from Mgent, one of the guys. But again, it's a community-driven tool, so people help out a lot with this. And again, I'll do Gmail. Now, what's fun about this one is what do we typically teach people in education awareness? Anybody know? Like, what are key indicators to look for in education? Misspellings. What do you always do? Hover over the link to make sure it's a legitimate website, right? So this takes advantage of that. So this is just an example, okay? But typically what I would do is if I was doing that trustedsec-benefits.com website, I would say, go to trustedsec.com. Now, and then when you'd hover over this, it would actually say, benefits.trustedsec.com. So it would be a legitimate domain name, right? So I'm actually targeting trustedsec.com even though I don't have any control over it. Now watch what happens when I hover over this. What happens when we hover over this? Anybody see it down there? What's that say? Look legit? Would you click on that? Sure, right? It's good. You can make that be whatever you want to. Now this is what's called an iframe reflection attack. Now watch what happens really quick, and you can change the timer on this to whatever you want to. What's going to happen is you're going to see a new browser up here. It's actually going to be at the legitimate Gmail site. But then, really quick, it's going to flip it. And you're going to be at a malicious site that you can capture the credentials at. So watch really closely. Click on it. See I'm at Gmail, accounts at Gmail. Notice there it changed really fast. Now you can make that any domain name you want to. See here I capture the username and password. So, again, another easy way to defeat what we're taught for normal education awareness. And when you click on it, obviously it replaces it really fast, and you can see all the stuff there. So, kind of neat. Anybody have any questions? No? Well, that's all I got for tonight.
That's it?
That's all I got. That's it. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate everybody coming. Special thanks to Hurricane Labs for the room again. They're always awesome for having us. And if you want the beer, take it. I have too much at home anyway, so my wife gets a little mad.
Announcements? Does anybody have any announcements?
Anybody have any announcements to go through? Job postings, things like that. Looking for anybody? Trusted Sec is hiring. Always hiring.